Hello and welcome once again to another episode here on A Girl's YouTube channel. In today's video, I have a high-profile personality. She is in the person of Grace. She is a YouTuber. She is a mom. She's a wife. She's every good stuff in between. Today, Grace is going to be telling us some juicy tips. Parenthood abroad is on another vibe. It's on another level. It's not like we know it's back home because I have 3 daughters. I gave birth to all 3 of them in Ghana. And since I moved to the UK, I've seen that there's a lot of difference between the parenthood we know back in Africa and the parenthood that is in the United Kingdom. So now she is a mother in diaspora. She's going to tell us how she gave birth to her 2 children, one in Scotland, one in England, how she has been faring as a young mom, as a wife, as a worker, and every good stuff in between. So without much ado, guys, let's go right into the video. I would like Grace to introduce herself to my fans. So Grace, can you tell us who you are, a little bit of background about you?
All right, thank you very much for having me on your channel today. So my name is Grace, but I use Jabakie on YouTube, yes, because that's my middle name. So I am a YouTuber also, and I provide content on motherhood and lifestyle in the UK, everything about UK. I've been in the UK for a little over 3 years.
Wow.
And yes, just as you said, I've had 2 children. One was in England. I used to stay in England, and the other one I had her in Scotland here. So I live with my husband and the kids over here in Scotland, and I work also.
Wow.
Yes,
okay.
I work.
So before we go into parenthood, basically about how you cope with the kids, that's my main focus for today's video, how you are coping with the kids and how you are raising the kids. So that those that are coming back from Africa, because a lot of you guys are asking, when should you bring your kids? Should you bring them immediately? Should you bring them blah, blah, blah? You should know certain things, certain safeguarding issues or laws pertaining to children before you bring your kids. But before we go into that, you had 1 child in England. You had 1 in Scotland. What was the difference? How was the treatment? How is it like giving birth abroad?
Right. So I would say that for UK, well, I don't have any experience when it comes to giving birth in Africa. I'm also from Ghana.
Oh, wow.
But over here, I would say that I really loved the treatment that I had. I really liked it. I mean, the attention that you receive, and they coming to you, especially right from even yes, right from when I was pregnant with the midwife, the treatments, they checking up on you, to the time that I went to the hospital. So with my first child, I had an emergency C-section. So when I got there, we went through all the normal, should I say normal, but rather the natural way, and it didn't happen. So we decided to go in for the emergency. And I would say that the doctors, the nurses, they were just, amazing. They provided the support that I needed, explain everything. You go there and they let you know what they are going to do, what's happening. They actually let you understand what's going on at every stage, what's happening, what they are going to do, the process they'll go through. They even explained to me how they were going to sew up the cut.
The episiotomy.
And because I was Black, and there was a possibility for me getting certain things. I really don't know the medical term, so they decided to use a different means or method, and he explained it to me, and just made me to understand what was going to take place. And then I also had the opportunity to ask the questions that I wanted to ask. They actually give you that chance to ask any questions that you want to ask. So when I was going in with regards to what I had to take along, I wasn't really given any list as in bring this, bring that. I wasn't, but they'll generally say, I think basically what they told me was bring nappies for baby, and that was basically what they said. But of course I went online and I went to the NHS website also to see what I would need, and I took them over there. But when I went there, even some of the things, especially nappies and all that, it was available over there. I mean, they provided me, they actually gave me the nappies that I would need and for the baby and all that. And giving birth also here, I realized that they don't bath the baby. I don't know why. Maybe Rebecca, you can tell us because since you are in, that they don't bath the baby. So I was a bit surprised. So I think that somebody actually told me that is what happened. So when I was going, I got my own bucket in the car.
When you finish, I'll tell you what happens in Ghana.
Right, okay. So I got my own bucket and then I got my own towel and all that. And I actually wiped the baby myself over there. I did something quick.
So they didn't wipe the baby at all?
They didn't wipe the baby at all. So both places. What they did was immediately the baby came out, just the, how do you call it? The towel or nappy that they used to clean, that initial, that was it. But as to bathing the baby, I don't know if they do that in Ghana or Africa or anywhere else, but they didn't do anything like that. So I had to personally, get my towel and do the cleaning for my baby.
So with Ghana, I had my 3 daughters in 3 different hospitals. My first one was in Kolebu Teaching Hospital. I was working there at that time. My second one was in a private hospital, La Paz Community, and then the third one was in district hospital. So in Ghana, depending on where you give birth, the treatment is different. Right. At the time I gave birth in Kolebu, I was working there. So the treatment was a 5-star.
Oh, God.
It was a 5-star treatment. I was taken to a private ward and all the blah, blah, blah. They bathed the baby. When I gave birth in the private, because also in the private it's expensive, they also give you that standard of care because you are paying a lot of money. But my 3rd child, I gave birth in a district hospital. Oh my goodness. After the childbirth, they just wrapped my baby for me. They didn't bath the baby, nothing. They discharged me an hour after I delivered to go because they needed bed to put people on. So also in Ghana, it depends on where you are. But with regards to the list, in Ghana, most of the hospitals, either private or public, they give you a list of things that you should buy. Because as you said, the nappy and those things in Ghana, there is nothing provided for you. So you have to, even the bed sheet you sleep on, if you want good bed sheet to sleep on, you have to provide your own bed sheet. But when I hear my friends talking about the treatment of how they are, handled here in terms of pregnancy and childbirth, I'm tempted to add 2 more to the 3. Is there any difference generally between giving birth in Scotland and giving birth in England?
Right. So I would say that basically not much of a difference, because that same kind of attention I received, that same kind of care, and they also provided, the nappy and all that, they gave me all that. So I wouldn't say much of a difference. And even I think I requested with my 2nd child, I requested if I could get even a private room, a room. My first child, I decided to pay for one, get a room by myself because I was like, I'm not sure how it's going to be and all that. But the second one, I asked them if they could give me a room. And they said, okay, it's not likely unless maybe you have a certain situation and all that, or you really need it. But eventually when I got there, they actually gave me one. Wow. And yes, because initially I was in a place where we just had a partition. But then later on, they took me to a room where, a self-contained room with everything in it. Yeah, so I would say that it's basically the same, except I think with England, when it came to the scan, we had to pay something little for it. You actually have to pay before you get it. But Scotland, you don't pay for it. They just have a box, I think, at the reception, and they've put it written there that if you want to donate something, you can donate, but you don't pay for it. You get it even before you see that, box to donate. And also when it came to parking, in England at the car park, because
tell me about that.
Parking, we actually had to pay, we were there for a number of days. We had to pay for parking. But in Scotland, no, we didn't have to pay. We didn't have to pay for that. So that is what I would say is, the main difference. But when it comes to treatment, when it comes to how they relate to you, the standard I would say is the same. Is the same. Yeah.
Wow. Sometimes I feel like if you haven't given birth, wait, first come and deliver all your children here. Yeah. Because be treated like a queen and you have all the attention you need. Back to the topic of the day. So you now have 2 children here in diaspora. You are with your husband. you are a mom, you work, you have children. How do you go about it?
I mean, you know, back at home, how it is. When you give birth, you won't touch a thing.
Nothing.
You have people, even, you have people around you.
With me, my aunties, all my mother's sisters will come. All of them will come to our place. They will take things to be washing my things. I don't do nothing.
Amazing. So that kind of support obviously is not present here. You just don't have it here because you don't have your family. And if you say that maybe you want to depend on maybe friends, or it's just everybody's in a hurry to go to work. Nobody can come and stay with you, to spend that time with you. So I remember my time, I think after certain days, at the beginning, I was just wiping the child because I had C-section, as I said, for both children. Both of them, actually. One was emergency and the other was planned, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So I was for the first one. Yeah, that was my first experience. I was just wiping her, cleaning her. So I think after some few days, that was when I actually gave her a good bath. And you can imagine someone who has gone.
Is that a beautiful one lying in the picture behind you?
Yeah, she's the one. Yeah, she's so the one. So yeah, she's the one. She's a girl. So actually, I had to give her the bath myself. I've had C-section, and the pain and all that. But thankfully, I would say that I had the strength to go through that. I actually had it because I thought I couldn't do anything, but thankfully I was able to do that, manage little by little. And I also had a wonderful friend. They came over for I think 2 days. They came on Saturday and they left on Sunday. Like a wonderful sister with her whole family. They came after, I think, a month after I gave birth. They came over to, show me some few things. I remember at the beginning, I was bathing my daughter in the kitchen because I didn't know how to do it without the water splashing on the floor. You know how we do it back home.
Yeah.
You put your legs in the pan, the basin, and you sort of bath. And I just didn't know how to do it without a water pouring. So I ended up bathing the child in the kitchen because at least the kitchen floor wasn't carpeted. Yeah. I mean, yeah. So when she came, she said, no. I will allow you to do that. So when she left, I now had the confidence to do it in the hall without the water splashing all over the place. Yeah, so that was a good thing. So yes, when you give birth over here, you are actually on your own. You have to do it by yourself. Your husband definitely would help you some way, somehow, but I mean, it's just not the same. It's still, because your husband will have to go to work.
Yeah.
So my husband had paternity leave for 2 weeks. I think with the first child, he had 2 weeks paternity leave, so he was around during that time. And well, the funny thing is that he had the leave before I gave birth to my daughter, and by the time she came, 1 week was gone.
My goodness,
1 week was
so it
gone.
was only left 1 week. He can't
1 week, yes. Exactly. So after he left, I was on my own with a baby, and you would have to manage, and all that. But before that, before I gave birth, I had to cook in bulk, right? I did that so that we would have something for the first few days after giving birth, so that I wouldn't have to stress myself so much. So I cooked in bulk, and then I was able to use that for something. And of course, when the people who also visited me, my cousin and the wife, they came over to visit, they also brought me something that I was able to, keep in the freezer for some time. So talking about taking care of the kids when it comes to work. So after I gave birth to my first child, I got a job. That was my first time getting, working even in this country. I got a job, I think when she was around 10 months old. That was when I got a job, and I had to take her to the child minders. And
how much was it, if you don't mind saying?
Oh, I don't mind. The child minders, I think as at that time it was £4. That was 2020. It was £4 per hour per child. But currently it's £4.50 per child for an hour. And I remember I would just carry her in the pram. We'll get a bus because in the morning, because of the time that I was starting work, my husband would have already gone to work. So he couldn't drop us at the workplace. That is with my first child. So I would have my prom. And then I remember one day during December, the snow, and carrying this baby and, you know, pushing through the snow. You can imagine even driving through the snow.
Yeah, because in London, I see them, they'll put a rubber around the baby and they'll be pushing them in the rain.
Yes. And you would be pushing. It was so difficult in the ice pushing, and you have to take the child there and leave her. When you close, you have to come back for her and all that. It was very challenging. Okay. But I found my childminder, the first one I had, she was quite good. I think sometimes I really would have to I had to take her to the place very early as I think sometimes around 6:30 to 7. But she was able to accept, you know, take her up. And
was it her own house, or it was like?
Yeah, so actually the childminders, they provide care in their own homes for the childminders. Yes, right. They provide care in their own home. So either they would pick your child for you from your house, depending on the arrangement you have with them. They are very flexible, especially if they're driving. They can be able to pick your child up from the house and then take them to their homes, or bring them back when it's time for them to bring the child. Yes. Okay. And some of them also can take your children to school if they are of children. Some of them can take your children to school if they are of school going age. They'll be able to take your children to school, pick them up from school and bring them to their place. And then when you're done, you pick them up, or they will drop them at home for you. So it depends on the kind of arrangement you have with them. They are very, very flexible indeed. So it depends on that. And you would be able to get through to them. And my second childminder that I have currently, she's so wonderful. Last year, she actually came to pick me from the workplace and took me home with my daughter. So I'll drop my daughter in the morning. My husband will drop us. Then we would go to her place, and then she would pick me up with my child and then take us to our home. So she's that good. Yeah, she's that good. Oh, it's amazing. It depends on who you get. See, some of them may not give you that kind of, you know, help. Really, yeah. Some of them may not give it to you, but some of them too are very good. And if you get one of such, then you have the peace of mind to leave your child with them, and you're able to also receive some support here and there. Yeah. So that is it. So you're paying that. So I think currently, the childminders, they charge between £4 to £5, depending on where you live. I know for London,
it's £10. It's 10 per child.
Yes.
Yeah.
How much is it? Have you asked the round? 10 pounds
per child per hour.
For nursery or childminders?
For childminders.
What?
Yeah, 10.
Wow.
If you are lucky, you may be very, very lucky. You get some maybe £8.
Wow. Wow. So you can imagine. So I mean, £4, 4.5. I mean, that is still something, a lot. That's quite a lot, because at the end of the day, I'm working part-time. And how much are you taking anyway? Yeah, with part-time, and you go and pay that. Virtually, you know, half of the money is little. Yeah. But the good thing is that the government, if you qualify, okay, if you are on indefinite leave to remain, there are some
the child benefit
supports, yes, that the government offers. We have child credits here and there, and you are able to get some support there. Government actually tops up with some amount of money. Depending on what you pay, they would also pay an amount of money, you know, to the childminder or the nursery, whichever type you're using. Yeah, so there is that support. It's not that much anyway. I mean, it's not that much, but it goes a long way to help. It goes a long way to help. Wow. So yeah, that is it. When it comes to taking care of your child, there are many options. You can either decide to take your children to the childminders, or take them to the nursery, yes, or after school club, depending on their age. Yeah, you can take them.
After school club, is it free or is paid for? I know
it's not free.
I know it's paid.
It's paid, yeah. So there is one that they have before. I think they call it breakfast something club or something like that. Exactly. So that one, that's before they start school.
Yes.
Yeah. And so all of them, you pay for it. So
pay for it,
if
but the education itself is free.
Exactly. Right. So depending on how early you go to work, you can drop them off over there. And then the breakfast club, then after school also, depending on when you close. If you don't close early, then that means that they can go to the after school club and be there till you are able to pick them up. And of course, you would pay for that as well. So you just have to be ready for that. Yeah. I know that in England, 3 years and above, that is when they have the free 30 hours of nursery. Yeah. And I think it's 5 hours per day, right? For 5 days. But over here in Scotland, it's actually 6 hours a day for 6 hours a day for the 5 days. So you get that extra hour. That is it for Scotland. That extra hour is there for
with
you.
This, you are saying we'll be moving to Scotland very soon.
Yeah, please do.
In your own opinion, is it advisable? You have given birth here, you've seen the system, the struggles and everything. Would you advise somebody coming to the UK for the first time who has family? Would you advise them to bring their family immediately? They come, like they should just bring the family, or they should wait for a while before bringing them?
I would say that it shouldn't be like you would all come at the same time. The main applicants can come, get used to the system for a while, and then afterwards, he or she can bring the other family on board. Because you're coming to a new place, you don't know anything about this place. You don't know how things work. You don't know how the system works. It's completely different from Africa, okay? Or Asia, wherever you're coming from, when it comes to child training, how to, safeguarding children and child protection, everything is completely different. So it would be better if you come first, you get used to the system, you know where what is, you know how things work here. And then afterwards, when you are comfortable and you know where to find what, you can bring your family in, especially the children. Okay, especially the children, because when you all come at the same time and you are moving around, and the stress, it's just too stressful.
I had a friend who did that. She's in the NHS. She came from Africa. I won't mention the country, with the husband and the son. She ended up having hypertensive emergency. She's very young. I'm older than her. She ended up having hypertensive emergency, bleeding from the nose. Yeah, it was a nightmare, because some of the houses when you're going to rent, I don't know if you've realized it, they'll tell you no children are allowed in this property.
That's right. That's right.
So she didn't tell the employer she had a child coming with her and the husband. So when she came, the house they were giving her is for only her. They now told her, okay, you can be here for temporarily a month, look for your own accommodation since you've decided to bring your family.
Oh dear.
And I tell you what, the Black community had to come together to loan her money. People had to sign references for her to get an accommodation. Even getting the house, we don't accept a child, we don't accept a child, we don't accept a child.
Exactly.
Eventually, it took a toll on her health. Her managers had to step in to help her a lot. So since then, I tell people, listen, it's not for the faint-hearted. Just leave, especially the children.
Yeah.
Get used to the system, get comfortable, know that this money you are spending can take care of your family, can do this.
Yeah.
Spouse has got a job before you can bring the children with you.
When it comes to the UK also, take safeguarding children and discipline. When it comes to discipline,
we don't smack a child.
You don't have to smack a child. No,
a friend of mine, the son, the daughter, that friend had been here for long. So she gave birth to her first child here. The first child is 11 years. The child looked at the father's face and told her, Daddy, don't be silly.
Whoa.
And I'm just like, if you try this.
Yeah.
It's a nightmare.
Yeah, so that's it. So I think for England, I think the rules are a bit different. They say you can do it a bit, but you should make sure that you don't leave marks and all that. Yeah. But for Scotland, they said no. It's completely a no in Scotland. Yes. They say you should treat the child like you treat an adult. You can't hit an adult, so no, don't hit the child. And that is something to that you would have to get used to, adjust.
Oh,
like if you do it and you go to this, they go to school, and kids, they talk a lot. Yeah. Maybe they're just saying it, just saying it for saying sake. and then someone will pick it up, and then by the time you realize social services
your
knocking on
house.
your door. Yeah, so you have to know that all of these is very different from back home, and you would have to adjust to that one as well, so that you don't end up having your children being taken away from you. You can imagine these children that you are suffering from, you are bringing here.
They will
at the
take
end of
them
the
away.
day, they will take them away, and
they will.
what will you do?
It happened to a lady in my. She used to do my hair. She used to do my hair back in Kent. They took her son away from her.
Yes, and that's something that is happening in our African communities. It's something that is really happening. They are taking the children away, and trust me, wherever they are going to, you don't know where they are going to. I mean, it's horrible. It's terrible. It's something you wouldn't want to happen to you. So please, let's watch all of that. Let's know the laws of the land, right? It's something that we have to know. Know the laws of the land and see how best you can apply it so that you don't get into trouble when it comes to even, taking care of your children. It's very, very important. Yeah. And I would say also that if you come to the UK here, try and see if you can get in touch with the African community. If it's a church, just make sure that you have that kind of support. It might not be that much, but it helps, so that they can advise you, they can give you whatever form of support you'll be needing over here when it comes to life in general, not just even child training, but life in general. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Grace, for your kind and wise words. I've learned a lot, and I know my followers and my subscribers are going to learn a lot as well. I'm going to leave Grace links in my description box, in my channel, my community tab. Please go and follow her. She has a lot of content. She has a lot of goodies in her that you can learn from, and follow her, subscribe to her channel, show her love and support, and learn from her as well. So guys, until we meet again in my next video, is bye.
Thank you.